Did you know there's an ending to this game? But it's not like a lot of normal game endings where you get to continue to play or things like that. In Conan Exiles, the end really means the end. How does one exactly initiate the ending to Conan Exiles? Well, to end this whole thing, you actually need quite a few things and then to bring them to the Chaos Altar. This is kind of cool because it revolves around you taking bits all around the entire Conan Exiles map and bringing it to this one spot to end it all. But the meaning of ending it all in this game is to escape beyond the green wall, which will require you to do the ending to be able to surpass this wall by obtaining an item called the Keystone. The Keystone is made of many things you will have to collect around the map. Just bear in mind, if you decide to do this, there is no turning back, and it will tell you about this when you decide to do this. I will show you the whole process at the end of the video to decide if it's something you'd like to do yourself. Our first step of remaking the Keystone to get us free from the exiled lands is to find all the broken pieces of the Heart of the Sands, called the Scourgestone. We do this by finding it around the exiled lands, and there are several pieces of this Scourgestone that you need to bring to a certain very crazy sandy guy in the south. And we're going to start at Galaman's tomb, a place that we can find one of the broken pieces of the Heart of the Sands, in this cave where a ghost will usually walk into and you'll follow it by. This location in the map being really actual south in the Noob River is very close to the Noob River, and many of you might have been in there to visit and just check it out in general, being curious about one of the first caves you might wander into. If you travel down into the cave, you can find pieces of brimstone to farm, but not only that, you're going to find many crocodiles lurking beneath the depths. If you follow the cave down deeper into the depths, you will find the crocodile boss, and this crocodile has swallowed the jagged stone piece that we need as one of our parts for the Scourgestone. So to be able to get it, you're going to have to make sure to defeat all the crocodiles and the big one in the end to be able to get this piece of stone, and then you can move on to your next piece of stone that you need to find. If we continue into the jungle, we're going to find our next piece of the stone in a swampy location. Whoever hid these pieces did not want somebody rediscovering them and exiting the exiled lands. They wanted them to stay here for a very long time. The next piece we look for, though, is the broken Scourgestone piece, which is a tiny little bit of the stone that we need to repair the full thing. You enter a very creepy cave in the middle of the swamp, and you enter a massive passageway area that leads from the snow to the jungle, or in our case, from the jungle to the snow. Now this area is really deep and there's a lot of things down there. You're going to have to carefully scale the wall down and find the big locust boss that hides down below. But if we go over to where it is light in the corner, you should be able to find your next piece of the Scourgestone. Once you got on this piece of Scourgestone, you'll be able to continue to our next location, which is not so scary. It actually takes you to a place above land and not in a creepy cave, but you will still need to fight your way to get to it. This next piece is in the top of a very broken down ship in Buccaneers Bay. You'll have to go to the top and beat the captain for your piece of stone that you need to make the final bit. This place being here at Buccaneers Bay in the jungle. We're going to have to climb up and go into the captain's quarters to get this bit of stone, as it has been traded by pirates back and forth. And this guy is the one holding such the important relic. Maybe he was hoping to leave the exiled lands himself one day, and he's trying to gather the pieces. But unfortunately, that's where we come along to go and steal the pieces of the stone ourselves. Once you've climbed your way to the top, you should find the boss in the top, with some followers as well trying to protect him. Take them out and you should be able to steal that precious stone off his body and dash his dreams of ever leaving the exiled lands. Diadem is the one that holds this piece that you need to make a full Heart of the Sands to be able to leave the exiled lands. Our next place to go isn't easy because it involves a very scary big cat. They do a lot of damage and you might have seen them through the actual entry scene of Conan Exiles when the game launches itself. These big cats mean business, they really suck to battle, and there is many of them around here, but this is something you will have to surpass to be able to get out of the exiled lands. Make your way into the sandy building, and we're going to make our way all the way into the back room where someone unusual and kind of crazy hides. Go forth and talk to a crazy guy called Petruso, the Sandstorm Maniac. In this guy's inventory, providing you have all 3 of the other pieces, you'll be able to purchase a Heart of the Sands off this guy. He'll mend them together for you to be able to make them into a full stone. He has the knowledge to do so, after all. To explain a bit of relevance behind this entire stone, this is a chunk of stone that contains the elemental that plagues the exiled lands with the sandstorms. If you ever wondered why there was loads of exiled land sandstorms on the exiled lands, well, that is why. It is because of this piece of stone. Enslaved by the Priest King in his desperation to end the war after the shattering of the plains, he gave it over to the Warmaker to release at the right moment. When the time came, the Warmaker shattered the stone into fragments and scattered them across the battlefield, freeing the elemental to do its work. It seems to work, gathering a gigantic storm that crosses the exiled lands, moving towards the city of Exha in the far east. But the Giant Kings had not reckoned with the power of the human spirit. A Lemurian priest named Petruso went out to confront the sandstorm. Using the power of Dagon, he anchored the elemental controlling the sandstorm to his flesh, preventing it from moving further east and destroying the Lemurian city. He saved his people, yes, but Petruso paid a terrible price. His sacrifice had not stopped the sandstorm, it simply put it into a temporary loop. It passes across the exiled lands time and time again, stopping when it reached Petruso, then starting again. Eventually this drove him insane. This is one of the artifacts required to make the Keystone, and that is the story behind this whole Scourgestone. It's pretty cool, don't you think, that this one guy stopped the sandstorm from destroying an entire city. I can't say what's left of the Lemurian ruins, as it is pretty ruined and filled with monkeys and all of that stuff now, and other nasty creatures that are looking to smash the existence out of human beings. But hey, I think he did a good job trying to save at least some portions of the map. Otherwise, we could be looking at a very different story, having the entire map of the exiled lands covered in sands, if it wasn't for this one guy's sacrifice. For our next artifact, we are looking at a great kingdom, the Black Keep, where we are looking for a certain Mr. Scourge. More specifically though, we're looking for something very particular from this great gladiator. But we are looking for a single tear shed by Tyrus the Deathbringer, aka Mr. King Scourge. You'll be able to do this by going into his dungeon that you can find at the Black Keep in the ruins of Exolon. This is found in the snow, which you'll find by crossing the Bridge of the Betrayer. Enter the dungeon, complete the dungeon, and you should find the main boss at the end. This tear is an object of immense power. Tyrus was a half-blood child of a priest king and an unknown human slave. Whether his birth was natural or aided by sorcery is not known, but it's known that Tyrus had children of his own with his wife Telith. Tyrus was raised a gladiator fighting in the arena for the benefit of the Giant Kings. But when war broke out with the Lemurians, he became the leader in their armies. Through great feats of strength and will, he won the outpost of Azulan from the Lemurian army. Just south of there, he met Telith, a daughter of Lemuria, and everything changed. So yes, you are basically stealing a tier of an anatomy of nature right here from two different species. And this is not the only leader that you have to get rid of. There is also the Witch Queen, which obtains a very special mask that you're going to need for this entire recipe. It is the only way to cross the lands, and you're going to need to pry it off this very angry lady who still resides deep within the Lemurian jungle ruins. To get the mask we need, we're going to have to pry it off of the Witch Queen's face, and that revolves around killing her. But unfortunately, she is going to attack you back with the power of Dagon. The mask is basically used by the Witch Queens of Lemuria to communicate with their primary deity, Dagon, before their kingdom sank into the ocean before the cataclysm. When the Lemurians crossed into the land of the Giant Kings, they negotiated for somewhere to settle. The Witch Queen, wary of the forced exile on her people, helped the Giant King to forge the bracelets, originally to facilitate communication between the two races. Later, this mask possessed the exile Rasma, which you'll get a key to her quarters to enter once you defeat the Witch Queen. But controlling her thoughts and forcing her to start rebuilding the palace at the heart of Excel Ha. Yes, this mask has started controlling Rasma herself, meaning you're doing her a bit of servitude anyway by getting rid of her. So kind of a sad story, but hey, at least you can wrap it up there. The next place we have to go is one many of you probably have looked down into and wondered what the heck it's even for. Well, you're coming down to defeat the great champion dragon in the bottom of the arena. Yes, this is an absolutely massive arena housing a undead dragon. But why is this dragon alive? And where do we get our next piece of the puzzle? Yes, this beast holds the Star of the Champion, placed somewhere inside its bony interior. Defeating this creature will give you the relic, but how did it even get there in the first place? In the past, this star was awarded to Tyrus the Deathbringer. Yes, the one we took the tears from. It was awarded to him for becoming the champion of the Giant King's arena. In his final battle, he was to fight the mightiest dragon created by the Giant Kings, a magnificent creature of enormous stature. Tyrus defeated the beast, but in his victory, he saw the death of something noble, and he wept. He pinned the Star of the Champion to the corpse of the creature, and the mighty beast was buried right there, beneath the sands of the arena. Later, when Tyrus was cursed with immortality, the dragon inherited the curse and rose again to stalk the arena. And that is how this is a situation right here. So it is our job to take the pain away from this creature who was supposed to be down long ago and not living anymore. So head to the sinkhole, kind of near Noob River, so yeah, quite a popular spot, and you should be able to either use this entrance over here, the arena, or climb down into the sinkhole itself. You're going to defeat the dragon, and if you hack apart its body, you should receive the Star of the Champion, which is what we came here for and to do. Ironically, it's kind of funny since we have the Star of the Champion. Would you think that would make us immortal now that we have it for a short period of time? Who knows? But we are going to be giving this power away anyway to be able to escape our imprisonment. The next place we go is to defeat another king of sorts. However, he has been contained in a hole down below, with this magical and mystical door as the only way to get down to this actual king himself. You'll need demon blood in fact to even open this door up in the first place, so do bear that in mind before entering, that you bring a decent amount of the stuff. Once you go down inside, it is very dusky and dark, but you should find a life form down here, that of a giant king, which is actually kind of cool seeing an appearance from a giant king that we get to fight. Why are we fighting him? I'll tell you in a minute. But basically, you need to defeat him to be able to continue our quest to leave. If you defeat him, you can take his crown, become your own king if you like, although I don't know if I'd want to live a fate down in this murky, dark cave. The diadem hums with contained power taken from the priest king of the giant kings known today as the Barrow King. The story of the diadem is one of betrayal and hatred. It seems that the priest king was the father of Tyros the Deathbringer. Tyros turned against his father at some point during the war between the Lemurians of the giant kings, and his father cursed him and all of his loyal warriors. Such a strength of the diadem that Tyros and his men were cursed to live forever, a silent legion brooding in the ruins of the north. This is one of the artifacts that you're going to need to complete the Keystone. But yeah, this whole crown is what the monster kings wore, so maybe it's something you probably don't want to wear yourself. So best we put it into some ingredients to escape this cursed land. To find the Barrow King, you need to come over to the left-hand side of the map just before the snow. By the Mounds of the Dead, he's up in this top corner over here. Our next location is extremely hot and warm, but you're going to have to travel through the Great Volcano to get what we need coming up next. And that requires some bravery by jumping through the Great Portal itself. So dive on in and let us enter the volcano down below. And this place as well, in the volcano, right in the center in the Well of Skelos. You'd have to jump inside to get here, but once you're here, this is kind of what you're looking at. You're looking at this great place with much ornamental wonder on the sides of it. This place is protected by many snake men. You're going to find the last of their existence residing in here, as well as very angry people also protecting the snake men. But basically you're going to have to travel through this entire place as this crazy guy talks into your ear. Once you make your way here, you are challenged with the final boss of Conan Exiles, which I'm going to say right now, he is awfully underwhelming for a final boss, but let's continue with the video. Once you have defeated this snake guy right here, which you don't even need to fight, you just need to get rid of his beasts, you're going to pry the Shining Trapezohedron off his body, because this is the last piece you need to escape the exiled lands. You have conquered the volcano, you have conquered many biomes, but this was the last one you needed to go down into to get out of this cursed land. The Serpentmen of Valusia were in possession of this object, and how they came to be living beneath the volcano in the exiled lands is a mystery. Perhaps fleeing their genocide at the hands of the legendary Cull of Atlantis. They made their way to the exiled lands, where they befriended the giant kings through worship of their deity, Set. In return, they were allowed to live in the caldera of the volcano and build their cities there. It was, however, too late for the Serpent Men, a degenerate and a dying race, lacking the genetic diversity to continue. They found themselves coupling with snakes and lesser reptiles in hope of preserving their species, but as the time passed, they lost all hope of survival and instead prayed for bitter revenge upon the races. They crafted a staff with their ancient magics and summoned a presence via the Trapezohedron to inhabit the staff and lead the giant kings to their downfall. If they must die, they would take as many with them as possible, and most especially the cursed children of humankind. Sadly, with this fight, it's not very well explained why this guy just falls over and dies. There isn't really much explanation going around that you can find at the scene of the crime. But I can just assume it, keeping with sorcery, especially when you corrupt yourself to a certain point, you lose a lot of your vitality. So perhaps this was this guy's last piece of living vitality he used to take you down, which he utterly failed, and ending up with him on the floor and you taking the greatest treasure of them all, away from the Serpent Men to get your escape. Once all of these pieces have been collected, you can head down to the Chaosmouth, where you'll be attending the altar that looks over the entire exiled lands. This place is here on the map at Chaosmouth, which is very close to where Mitra's Hope is and all that good stuff. Pretty much when you get to this altar, it's not all the end yet. You actually do need to do an extra step to be able to pass this one on. But if I take all of this out and just put some stuff in, you're going to see what happens. So we will start with the Scourgestone. That will go in first. And it doesn't matter the order, by the way, I'm just showing you. We're going to put all the pieces we've earned today into this little machine right here, including the crown, and it will immediately turn into the Keystone, which you can use to unlock the bracelet on your arm. Yes, this thing on your arm that has been causing you much pain and toil and keeping you in the exiled lands forever. Now, before you do this process, I'm going to warn you, when you do this, you will delete your character, so it really is the end. It is goodbye, you're never coming back to this world. Unless you want to continue and go to the Isle of Sipta, then you have your whole other issues of being stuck on an island with vicious storms and sorcerous people and angry races. Yes, it is a whole thing, but yeah, that's also an option for you if you want. But there is no way of passing on your character data. So do make sure when you do this whole story step that you are ready to stop playing the game. It is a way to tie up the game completely and stop playing it until another update later or whenever you fancy it next. It is a playthrough ender 100%. So bear that in mind, and if you do want to continue, it does not add anything special to your account in any way, shape or form. This is why it can be pretty controversial to go ahead and do this, as it is a game ender for many. Some wish for many, years and all that good stuff, that this game would offer a different way that you could ascend in a way and continue your playthrough. But for now, and for many years, it has always been this way with Conan, and it just is how it is. So if you do want to end the game, this is the way to do it. If you want to continue the game, then ideally you, don't do this at all, and maybe hopefully this video will be a nice way to end it yourself and see what the ending is actually like. But without further ado, let's use the Keystone and get out of here. You will see as well, when you pop this up, it will tell you, do you want to escape from the exiled lands? Please note, doing so will permanently delete your character and restart the game. So be wary, it tells you, it warns you, you know what you're getting yourself into. But for you guys today, I'll show you what happens by pressing yes. And there you have it, that is what you're left with. You are completely deleted, you have left the exiled lands, you no longer need your character as they are free from everything. What do you think about the ending? Let me know in the comments down below. For me, I wish there was other ways to do the ending, or perhaps you could continue away on Sipta or something like that. I don't know, it would be nice. I do feel like the ending is definitely underwhelming. But as well, it makes sense, because you're leaving the exiled lands. What more is there really to say about it? It's not like you have to fight your way off the lands. You've already done all that and everything. So, yeah, you're just free to go kind of thing. It is very, it's a big build-up for not a lot at the end. But hey, maybe that is the beauty of it. Maybe it is just that way that works out well. But yeah, let me know what you think, and good luck to you if you decide to leave the exiled lands yourself. Hopefully explaining some of these points about these artifacts made sense to you on what their purpose is. I know some of the explanations when it comes to certain pieces of these artifacts are not the best explained. However, some of them are really interesting. Like, I really like the idea of the whole Scourgestone. That thing is really interesting to know about, but you wouldn't really know about these things unless you spent the time to read the descriptions or look them up on the wikis. So that is where you would find that kind of information if you did want to have a look for it. But most people just playing the game would just ignore those things and carry on playing. That's kind of why I wanted to explain it in this video and tell you all about them. But either way, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe for more Conan Exiles, as there will be many more in the future and many guides you could explore on my channel already, going over everything in the game. Either way, thank you for watching, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!